Earl, cut it out, man. Cut it out. We're on. Alright, welcome back, my fine feathered YouTube chicklets. How y'all doing, man? We got snow here knee deep in the white stuff and under winter weather advisory until sometime tomorrow. Last week, I finished working on I had an old Martin D35 in here. Early to mid 70 model. The guy brought it in a while back. Last week I finished it and it's back to the owner now. I couldn't show you that guitar. He didn't want me to put it on the internet. Anyways, it was a nice old guitar, but the action was so high on that thing, man, you could not play it. I mean, even the first fret stuff, you know, and when you got down 7th or 8th fret, you couldn't play it. It was so high. I didn't even measure it. It was so high. And I thought, you know, this people's been asking me about this, and I thought I'm going to make a video about straightening guitar necks, old ones like that does not have a truss rod in it. We did have a, some of them's got like a T-bar, what we call a T-bar. In fact, I've got a piece of, well, I'll never find it. I've got a piece of a T-bar here that I cut off and used the other piece for something else. But this one had a like a square, what you would call that, tubing like. Square tubing. It was steel, of course, to reinforce the neck with. And when I got a neck here I can demonstrate with. This neck's always a good demonstration neck. I told the owner, I said, there's a couple ways you can go about it. I said, I've had success before with, you know, clamping this thing up and forcing back bow this way, forcing it into the neck. You know what I mean? And while it's clamped up, I've got videos to show you how to clamp it to do that. You got to have a 2x4 about as long as the neck is, or at least as long as the fretboard is, and one clamp and a couple of blocks to put on there. I've got videos showing you how to do it, helping your truss rod. Look that up. Anyways, I told the guy on that Martin D35, I said, one way I've had success doing it is clamp the thing, force back bow. So you ain't got no adjustment up here or inside the sound hole. So clamp it up, force back bow in it, wrap a damp cloth around it, and get one of these. If you don't even know if you can still buy these or not, man. These are heat lamps. I think this is like a 500 watt. That don't sound good. That's where the lamp works though. Anyways, hang it up over the thing and let the heat, you know, you can watch your heat religiously if you do this. Hang it up over the neck like so, and usually I hang it up here and, you know, got all kind of adjustment there with a cord. Plug it in right there and, you know, adjust your heat up and down. About 200 degrees is plenty, man. No more than that for this, or even 180 would be okay. And leave that. Let it set like that for a very long time. Clamped with back bow in it, with heat on it. Make sure your cloth stays damp so you don't dry the wood out. I'll tell you I've had success doing that. Or I said, the best way really to do it, and assure you that it's going to stay that way, is to pull all the frets out. This guitar needed frets anyway, so I told him about this way. Pull all the frets out. Clamp the thing, you know, in a way that it's got back bow in it. What you want to do is buy frets with the tang a little bit wider than the normal tang that was in the thing. Now the tang I'm talking about here, this is some fret wire. The tang I'm talking about is the part of the fret that goes down into the slot. Okay, for those of you that don't know that, I know some people, most of you know it, some people don't know it. The tang, that's the part of the fret that goes down into the slot. You want to buy a wider tang. They make all different sizes of them. Be careful and don't get one too wide. The idea is to really get it right, what I've always did and what I did on that guitar. Take you a straight edge, okay? When you get all your frets in there, you want to lay that straight edge on there and hold it down up at this end where my hand is. Hold it down and measure the distance between the straight edge and the last fret back here. Okay, I generally like to see around 8, no more than 10,000 measurement right there. back bow I'm talking about, okay? What that does, with about 8 to 10 thousandths of an inch back here, measuring with that straight edge on there, just about every time when you put that neck on the, well, it's going to be on the guitar if it's acoustic. Anyways, whenever you get ready to string it up, that leaves you some room, because you've got no adjustment whatsoever. It leaves you some room, though, to have string stress. So you can kind of play with strings and get different action heights and different relief into the neck that way. But that works. That's the way I did his guitar. It needed frets. I said, well, I can do it this way, and I told him about it, and he said, do that. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's a little bit quicker, too. And the way with the heat lamp and stuff can take weeks, man. And then even then, sometimes it doesn't work. This way works every time. But you got to be careful, like I said, get the, I would recommend ordering, pull all the frets out, ordering a bunch of different size widths, tang width, bunch of different sizes, and that way you can kind of play with it as you go along. But you know, when you clamp that thing back like that and you drive those wider tangs down into the slots, I mean, you know what, 20 of them, 22, 24, however many frets you got, times the width that you went, you're talking about quite a bit of back bow you can put in that thing with the steel reinforced rod in there and no adjustment. You can adjust it this way. But I would recommend, like I said, get different tang widths, a bunch of them. You know, order fret wire like that, say 30 thousandths tang width. Then order 28 thousandths and 26 and 32 and 34 and 36. You get the idea. That way, when you start driving the frets in, I would even maybe start in the center. Put a fret, you know, about the middle of the neck, and one down here, and one up here, and one down here, and you know, working it like that. And that way you can see and measure as you're doing it how much. You don't want to get any more than 10 thousandths of an inch whenever you lay your straight edge on there like that. Hold it down flat at this end, measure that in, and you want to see 8 to 10 thousandths. That measurement has worked for me for many years. If you can get it around 8 to 10 thousandths reading there, then when you string it up, you're going to have about 12 thousandths neck relief. And you know, of course, you can play with your action back at the saddle if you want. But that guitar turned out perfect, man. Had super low action on it, just the way he wanted it. He couldn't believe it. I changed the neck on it. I said, no, same guitar, same neck, different frets. And like I said too, that will allow you a little bit to play with the strings. If you put, say, medium gauge strings on there and the neck straight, and you want a little bit more relief in it, okay, you can afford to go to the next heavy set of strings. One set up or one set down is safe on just about any guitar. I don't recommend going much over that. Tony Rice used to play a 13 to 57 on his acoustic guitars. You know, that 57, that's like a light bass string, really, if you think about it. But that's what he played to get that, you know, deeper tone like he always had. Anyways, if you got a guitar that does not have a truss rod in it, it's probably going to have something in it, you know, like some kind of steel reinforcement, but no adjustment on it. Just remember, you can pull all the frets out, and that's kind of a pain to do that, especially if the frets is good. But if it does not have no adjustment, and you cannot or do not want to put the light or heat on it like the other way I'm talking about, pull all the frets out, start in the center, and work your way out farther each time. Take measurements as you go. I would recommend maybe put in the first fret and the last one, okay? And then start as near to the center of the neck as you can, and you know, jump back and forth and measure, man. Keep measuring. If you see you're starting to get a little too close to 10 thousandths, then you know, just go back to the same width of the old fret you pulled out of it. See what I'm saying, man? Or if you're going to use heavy gauge strings, you know, really warp that thing back. Put really wide ones. Now be careful doing that though. But you put really wide tangs in there and really stretch this thing back. You know, put some serious back bow into it. Remember, you've got no adjustment, man. No adjustment whatsoever. Often there's a tube or a T-bar. And, you know, so you got to guess at it with the frets. Get it as close as you can to 8 to 10 thousandths measurement with no strings or anything on it. string it up, and you will have very close to 12 thousandths neck relief. Electric guitars about the same, but usually most electric guitars I've seen anyways has got a truss rod, an adjustable truss rod. So you should be good to go there. Anyways, I hope that helps. I wanted to show you guys that guitar, and he insisted on me not showing it to you. So I fixed it, and he picked it up last week. I think it was one day last week. Yeah, it was. And was tickled to death. Actually, he didn't pick it up. I shipped it to him. Anyway, it's back in the owner's, and he's crazy about it. He actually thought I changed the neck on his guitar. I said, no, man, it's the same neck. Anyways, thank you guys. I hope it helps you. Pull your frets out. If you got one like that, refret it with a wider tang. Maybe in every fret slot. Maybe you won't have to in every fret slot. Start with, you know, like I said, first fret and the last fret, and then work from the center out. Measure every time you put a fret in. Measure it. Keep it between 8 and 10,000. You'll be good. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Well, there you go. For those of you that never see the stuff, the white, horrible, messy. Got about 5 inches on the ground, something like that. Pretty good snow for November. Horrible white stuff all over everything, knee deep. Hold on.
Don't worry. You'll get the shit. You'll be knee deep in the shit.